Before we go ahead to start assessing this velocity chart, I would like us to first understand the purpose of velocity. I have heard so many misconceptions when it comes to this velocity thing. Sometimes as a Scrum Master, you join an organization and then they're expecting you to increase the team's velocity. Leadership use this as hammer on the team. Sometimes leadership will use this to micromanage or monitor the team, and if the team perform anything below what they had earlier seen, it becomes a problem. Hello everyone, this is Karen from Malcolm, your Agile Evangelist, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be talking about something cool, team velocity, or you want to say sprint velocity. As a Scrum team, or I am very sure that in this Agile space, in the process of you learning or doing the job, you have heard about velocity a lot. So today, I would like us to deep dive into that from a Scrum Master perspective or from an Agile coaching perspective. So let's get started. By the way, if this is your first time here, you're welcome. Please go ahead and turn on the subscription button and notification bell so you will not miss out on any of our content. Now, by the end of this video, you will have an understanding of what sprint velocity is. You have an understanding of what the team average velocity is. And you also understand the value of using velocity, where it's applicable and where it is not applicable. So I'm also going to be showing you how you can leverage velocity to assess the team current state and then identify opportunities to help them improve towards maturity. I'm going to be demoing live a sample velocity chart in Jira, and I am very sure by the end of this session, you will be a pro in velocity from a Scrum Master perspective or from an Agile coaching perspective. So please stay tuned and watch until the very end. Now let's get started. I'm going to be sharing my screen in a little bit. Just give me 1 second. All right. So right now we are in Jira. How do you assess? How do you even find the team velocity, and how do you read the velocity chart, and what is there to take out of whatever you're trying to read? What are you trying to get? Why are you even reading it? Why is it important? Those will be the things that we'll be addressing today. So now let's get started. Once you have logged into your team Jira board, right? The very first thing you want to do is you identify the project. And to identify the project, what you do is you come to projects right at the top right here, projects, click on the drop down, and then select your team project. Once you select the project, this is what you will see, right? Once you select the project, this is going to be the view for you. So now, so how do you identify the velocity board? Click on reports. Once you click on reports, you will see all the different reports that have been configured for this particular project. Come here where it says velocity report. You click on the velocity report. Okay, so now this is the velocity for the team for all of the sprints they have worked on. As we can see here, the team so far has completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sprints throughout this project. This is what this velocity is telling us. We can also count this number of sprints that this team has completed so far on this project from here. Sprints, you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is the number of sprints that this team have completed so far in the project. Now, before we go ahead to start assessing this velocity chart, I would like us to first understand the purpose of velocity. I have heard so many misconceptions when it comes to this velocity thing. Sometimes as a Scrum Master, you join an organization and then they're expecting you to increase the team's velocity. Leadership use this as hammer on the team. Sometimes leadership will use this to micromanage or monitor the team, and if the team perform anything below what they had earlier seen, it becomes a problem. And then another common thing that I've seen is sometimes leadership will use this thing to compare teams. Okay, all of what I just said is not what we don't want to do. The purpose of velocity is that understanding what your average velocity is, it helps you as a team become predictable over time. That is the purpose of velocity. You use velocity as a tool to become predictable, right? You measure how much you are capable of accomplishing as a team. And then so that this information, just knowing this information as a team, it's very useful because that is the kind of stability that we want as an agile team. And for us as a team, that is advantageous in the sense that we know how much we are capable of accomplishing every sprint based on our capacity, right? Based on our skill set, we know how much we are capable of accomplishing. And then from a leadership standpoint, this information is also, they can also leverage this information to make predictive business decisions. You know, the way business functions, you want to be successful as a business entity, you always need to be proactive. You always need to stay 1-2 steps ahead, right? And to successfully do that, you want to be predictable. You want to have some level of predictability. Velocity helps you accomplish that. And then when it comes to customer perspective, leadership also will, customers want to know what to expect at every given time. We don't have to be precise like that. We just want to be accurate somehow, you know. So this information can also benefit customers in the sense that just knowing how much we are capable of accomplishing, leadership will use this information to make predictive business decisions. And then we can also provide this information to customers so that they know what to expect from an estimated standpoint from us at the end of every sprint or at every given time. They know what to expect or what to estimate. They can roughly estimate what to expect from us at every given time. So that is the only reason why we should be using velocity. Anything other than that, I don't recommend. Anything other than that to me is an anti-pattern, and that's what we don't want to do. And sometimes we see teams shy away from using these metrics. If you want to go deep, ask questions and learn more about that, you will see that they are misusing this information. You see, so this information only serves as an information radiator for the team to identify opportunities to improve in the process of becoming predictable. I hope that makes sense. Now let's go ahead to start analyzing this thing. Well, before we go ahead to do that, I just want to quickly say this. You all know that we offer Scrum Master trainings, right? We have also launched a fantastic Agile coaching program, which is targeted to help aspiring Agile coaches and practicing Agile coaches. It is more hands-on. It is more of everything when it comes to Agile coach. It is less of a certification, even though you earn a certification of completion, right? But it helps you to be great at your job, and it also guides you towards understanding what is expected of an Agile coach, and it prep you for an interview to succeed in an interview and on the job. So we have a next session coming up from the 1st of the 3rd of July. So please, if you are interested, the current cohort is ending very soon. It was fantastic. I can tell you that it was fantastic. If you're interested, please reach out to us, send us an email. I'll be more than happy to help you. That's our contact information right there on the screen. Please don't hesitate to reach out. If you're just starting your journey as a Scrum Master, we have an end-to-end package that will start you from scratch all the way through you landing the job and be successful on the job. It's amazing. We've already helped thousands of people by God's grace. So I don't even want to talk too much because what we do works. Reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to be part of your success story. If you already have a certification and you're in between the certification and landing the job, you've been struggling, you're on the job market, you're lost, contact us. We can help you for sure. So that's it for that. And if you're already on the job as a Scrum Master, you want to be effective as a Scrum Master, we also have a fantastic mentoring program that is more of one-on-one, which is what we call the Level 3 program. Reach out to us. In fact, we have so many things to offer. Contact us and we will even provide orientation for you to make the best decision possible. Now let's go back into the main topic. So as a Scrum Master, right, if I join a team, and then as I am looking to understand where the team is at, because as an Agile practitioner, the first thing you're doing is once you connect with the team, you want to first understand where the team is at, and then you meet them where they are, work with them towards improvement. So how do you understand where they are? To understand where they are, there are so many different ways. Metrics is a big part of that. Metrics plays a big part of that. Okay, let's say I just joined this team, and the very first tool that I want to leverage to understand the team current state is, okay, I'm looking into their data here. And the very first one I'm pulling up is their velocity board. Looking at this velocity board, as you can see, by the way, the green stands for completed work. The gray stands for committed. So what that means is, no, let me use this third sprint one. What that means is this gray, this is what the team committed in the beginning of the sprints, right? In the beginning of the sprints, looking at this, the team committed to 8 story points, because this is red in story points. At the end of the sprint, the team completed 16 story points. So the gray stands for committed work, and then the green stands for what the team was able to accomplish by the end of the sprint. With that understanding, let's assess what this is. So as a Scrum Master, me joining a new team, and then I'm trying to understand their current state, pulling up their velocity chart, and then I see that the first sprint, they completed, according to this data, they didn't make any commitment. They didn't commit to anything, but yet they completed 3 story points. The second sprint, they actually committed to 8, but they did not complete anything at all. They did not close anything. Okay. The third sprint, they committed to 8, but they completed 16, as you can see there. Okay. The fourth sprint, they committed to 11, and then, no, they committed to 8, yet they completed 11. The fifth sprint, the same, they committed to 7, and then they completed 7. Okay, this is beginning to make sense. The next sprint, they committed to 20, and then they completed 13. Okay, what's going on here? And then the last sprint here so far, they committed to 16, and then they completed 16. Looking at this data, I would suspect different things. I would suspect that either the team doesn't understand velocity, how to leverage it, because clearly looking at this, the team doesn't have you cannot trust this data. I would not trust this data. So looking at this, I would suspect that either the team doesn't care for velocity, they don't take advantage of it, or the team they still have some problems around estimating work, you see. So do they even do sprint planning at all? If they do sprint planning and they don't agree on what to commit to, looking at this first sprint, they didn't commit to anything, but yet they completed. Well, it shows that they started a sprint before they even pulled in 3 story points of work into the sprint. That is what I am assuming in this case. And then in this other case, I'm assuming that either they started the sprints and maybe they didn't close out anything, which is, again, I want to know the root cause of that based on my assumptions, or they actually completed the work but did not update their board. There are so many factors that may influence the way this board is looking. And then why do they keep moving up and down, completing 3, moving to not completing anything, moving to completing 16, moving to completing 11? I mean, the velocity variation is just too jumpy. We don't want that. They say if you cannot measure it, you cannot manage it. And for you to be able to measure it, you need to first make it stable. For you to become predictable, you need to stabilize it. That's what we are trying to do with velocity right here. So looking at all of these, the very next thing I'll do is I'm going to contact the team. I'm reaching out to team members, having the conversations with them to validate my hypothesis, what I've seen in here. I'm talking to team members, one-on-one, on group setting. All of us will connect and assess this data. Through that assessment, I will be rating if they understand velocity. I'll also be rating if they understand how to use it. Even if they understand it, do they know how to use it? I'll be understanding if they know the data that drives the outcome of this velocity board, all of that. And then based on that now, really what I would do is I would just ignore everything I see here, especially if I realize that they've not been intentional about making sure that they are doing what they're supposed to do so that the velocity board can capture the data and read correctly. I'm just going to ignore everything here, and we're going to start from scratch to identify the sprint's average velocity or the team average velocity. That's what I'm going to do. So now this brings us to what is average velocity. Average velocity, to calculate the team's average velocity, usually you want to calculate the total number of story points that the team have completed for at least 3 sprints, divided by 3 to get the team's average velocity. That average velocity would be the baseline that you want to establish as what the team is capable of accomplishing every sprint. In this case, assuming that we're actually going by this data, let's just ignore all this first data and then let's start from this one, right? So in this case, the team's average velocity would be the total number of story points completed, which is 7, plus the total number of story points completed in this case, which is 13, plus 16, divided by 3. It will give you the team average velocity. So whatever that number is, let us establish that as the team average velocity. And then moving forward, right, we will be working and seeing how we are staying close to that average velocity. If we realize that, let's say we work for like 3 sprints, again 4 sprints or 5 sprints, and then we don't vary, we don't get away from that average velocity too much, or the variation is not too high or too low, then we want to trust that that is our true average velocity. That is we want to call that as our predictable value. You see, so we can now confidently provide, let's say in this case, if the average that we've calculated, right, it is, let's say 20, right? We can confident and we consistently work for 5 sprints after establishing that baseline. It's the variation is not too high away from. So let's say after that, let's say the first sprint after that, now we've established that average velocity as 20, right? I hope we all are following. The next sprint after that establishment, we were able to complete 21. The next sprint after that, we were able to complete 20 again. The next sprint after that, we were able to complete 22. We're able to complete 19, like that, moving forward. We're able to complete. So you see, we are not getting away too much from that 20. So that kind of data you can trust. We can now confidently tell stakeholders that, okay, average velocity is 20. You see, so they know that every sprint, they should safely expect about 20 velocity, 20 story points worth of value from us. You see, so they should averagely expect approximately 20 story points worth of value from us. So that is how these things work. So what you don't want is you don't want some huge variation. Let's say that average velocity is 20. Then in the next sprint, we have 30. In the other sprints, we go to 5. In the other sprints, we go to 7. No. And then it means that we have still not been able to identify our true velocity, which is what we call the average velocity. So we still have to focus on working on that, doing different things. Do we need to look into what is wrong with our estimation? Do we need to look into what is wrong with it's a work item well refined? There may be so many root causes of that. So instead of trying to fix that velocity or game that velocity, that's what most teams do, really. That's what I've seen in most organizations. Don't try to game these numbers. These numbers are rather there to help you expose your gaps. That's the purpose of these numbers. They're there to help you expose your gaps so that you can identify how you want to improve on these gaps. But if you're gaming the numbers to make them look nice in the eyes of leadership, you're deceiving yourself, you see. And leadership, don't push your teams to get to that point where they feel the need to do that, because it's not going to help us. But I know usually these things usually come from a place of lack of understanding, you see. But yeah, that is really how to analyze this velocity. So you see, so as a Scrum Master now, this is where you come in. For you to better help your teams, you have to understand it yourself. Because most of the time, the team members don't care for this. They don't understand the purpose, the value, why they should even use it in the first place. So how do you help them see that if you don't even understand it yourself? You are not the driver of this, in the sense that the data that reads here has nothing to do with you, really, because you are not the one doing the real work. However, you would ensure that the team is taking advantage of this as much as possible. You see, and again, they really don't have to use this, though. There are so many different metrics, but this one, they really don't have to use it, but that's the purpose of it if you choose to use it. And when you're working with a team that is really, really mature, you see that they get to a point where they never even have to use all this. But I've never really seen that kind of team throughout my years of experience. I've never really seen that kind of team. You see, but a team that is really mature, they already know, they've already been able to identify the average velocity a while ago, and they are doing well with it. They've been keeping to it, and they've been keeping to their words, you know. And if anything is changing, they are having that conversations and making that adjustments. Why would they need to use this anymore? They don't need it, you see. So that's the point I'm trying to make, is that it's not a rule that every team must use velocity. It's really not. Use it because you understand why you should use it and you know the problem it will solve. That is really why you should use it. Well, that's going to be it for today. I hope this was helpful. In our next session, we're going to continue to show you more on the great things this Jira tool can do for us. It's an agile environment. Thank you so very much. And again, please, if you still haven't subscribed, do so. If you are still looking to get into any of our programs, please visit our website, BeingAgileConsulting.com, or send us an email, info@BeingAgileConsulting.com, or give us a call. We'll be more than happy to walk you through this journey, and you will become, I don't want to say an expert, your craftsmanship. My tongue. Your craftsmanship will be top notch. Excuse my tongue, excuse my accent. But that's it. Thank you so very much, and hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.